everyone, welcome back to a Ardent Roleplay art stream. I'm Lauren and I'm an illustrator here at Ardent Roleplay. If you're new to Ardent Roleplay, it's an augmented reality app for tabletop role-playing games. You can download the app now on your App Store or your Google Play Store. So the way the app works is that it uses these thematic cards that I am illustrating today as AR markers. As you can see in the video below me. So let's quickly go to slideshow. So at the moment we have a bunch of a whole full deck of high fantasy, and we also have a suit of Cthulhu mythos themed cards. Ardent Roleplay has a partnership with Chaosium, who bring you the Call of the Cthulhu RPG tabletop game, and yeah, that partnership's something really exciting for us. So today I am working on a card for the new suit that we're working on, which will be a rural theme. We have card types which the GM can use as narrative cues while they're GMing a game. The GM actually is called the Keeper in Call of Cthulhu. And yeah, today I'm working on what I believe will be a civilian card, but it also might turn into a suspect card. I'm not sure yet. So this is what we were working on last stream, and I'm going to continue working on it tonight. And yeah, if anyone in chat has any questions about the cards or Ardent Roleplay, I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, I guess we'll jump straight into it. For those who weren't with us last stream, I do have a color scheme that I work with. And yeah, basically I pick colors from that. This is the line work. I'm going to close that document. So this is an example border as well. This isn't the final border, this is the border from the last suit, which was a metro suit. So we're going for a rural theme this time, but I don't have a border for that yet, so that's just a placeholder for me to kind of get a sense of what it looks like with the border. And we're just going to bring up a list. After the stream I wrote a list of things that I was going to get to tonight. So the big one I left off with last stream was this background black. It was just a placeholder for anyone I was dealing with. Usually in an illustration like this, when you've got like a very much a foreground and then you have a background going on, like you want a clear distinction between the two. Usually a good tactic is to make the line work thinner and the background lighter and the foreground darker, just to create that depth. So my instincts were telling me not to put too much black in the background and to even remove some. And in a way that does work, like you get the sense of the foreground. But for this card, I feel like when I take the black away, the interest and the mystery about the items in the back kind of gets lost. So what I'm actually thinking about is just embrace the darkness instead, this card. So I'm going against what I normally would do for this situation. But I feel like for this card in particular, I'm going to have a lot of black on the bottom and a lot of black on the top, so it's kind of narrowing our focus towards her face. So it does the same thing I wanted to do, but I keep the mystery in those background objects. So that's I've decided to do the black now, so that's where I'm going with that. Yeah, so this was a placeholder. I could probably work with this and then just clean it up really. So a decision has been made on that, so I'm going to embrace the darkness in the background. Okay, I'm actually not sure if I can use this because it looks like I've used different transparency there. We'll work with it. I quickly did this black at the end of last stream, so Ooh. Alright, I have a feeling my tablet has reset its settings. Hold on. We'll see. Usually I can't move my pointer to the other screen, but I can at the... It's a stream. Just some technical difficulties here. I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to restart my computer. So I will be right back. And I am back, I believe. Sorry for that. Yeah, just restarting it fixed it. So my brush was going a bit strange. My tablet was going a bit strange, but it seems to be fixed now, so I'm all good to go. Alrighty. Alright. So I was getting into this black area here. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. Alright. Gonna tidy this up. And that's like a detail of the table there. Also realized after the stream that I should change the color of this frame because it's green and it's kind of blending into that hair there. We don't want that. Change. Lower the transparency on this for now, because then it can give me an indication of where it's going in places that it shouldn't. Layer style is very good. Yeah, so this was, if you missed the last stream, this is really messy. The black I'm fixing up now is because I literally, as an afterthought, near the end of the stream, I just selected and filled it with a paint can, just as an idea to check out. And it turns out it worked, so I'm just implementing that now. Put some lines. Yeah. Break up that darkness. It goes from solid black to nothing real quick. gonna have to probably draw the lines of these scales here. Negative. I've got a layer for all the line work, and I'm just gonna create a masking layer for that. Just erase these lines. My lines are straight. Okay, cool. Need to get up that list again. Right, so that was the first thing on my list that I wanted to do after last stream. The second thing already mentioned is that this frame here, green was the wrong choice, I think, just simply because it is too similar to the hair color. So. I'm going to want to choose a color that is quite different, but that will sit still, like will still sit back from the background. So I'm thinking grey, honestly, because it's a really boring color. Although I don't have the so anyone who wasn't here last stream as well, I'm going to make this a mirror, and it's going to reflect the back of this lady and reveal something about her that's a bit spooky. What I actually might do is start that aspect, because then once that coloring is in, then I can kind of determine what color of board is going to. I'm going to create a whole new folder for this. I don't have my color scheme. There we go. So I'm going to start off with blue. These reflections are usually nice to do in a blue color. Maybe I'm using a purple kind of glow in the background. I don't mind the blue actually. But anyway, I'm getting distracted. Get back to the mirror. I haven't really decided what I'm going to really depict in this mirror yet. I want to clearly show her from behind, but I'm not sure what the element is that I'm going to add that's a bit unnatural. So I can do tentacles, which is a pretty... I've used it a lot already in the first suit, so if you think of something else, that'd be cool. But we'll see how we go. And go with white. Do that. that's looking a little bit reflective, which is what we want. Good. Look at add a little bit of experiment with the blue in the background there instead of purple, so try that. With no color overlay. With purple, this overlay that I put in at the start of coloring in this is to give a definition between the foreground and the background. Not minding more blue in the background. Let's sit it back a bit. Generally cooler colors sit back anyway. Why adding a bit of blue here might not be a bad idea. Else that was annoying me was this green glow that's currently hitting her face. It wouldn't be hitting the side of her face, so I'm going to erase some of that. Face looks a little bit two-sided now, but that's okay. I can work with that. You could probably use with some more highlights as well. Probably figure out a colour for this frame back here. Could also just leave it as it is, but just looks a little bit unfair. Try it's orange, maybe a little bit golden. That is very faint, but that's might be okay. On a little bit of difference from what it was. Yeah, probably. About doing some more highlights and things. I'll figure out how much detail I put in the rest. Actually, I haven't touched this foreground area. Oh, actually, there's no colour here, so I might actually do that first. So let's try a green-looking glass. of the light. Okay. We also don't want that to be that bright, so down. And for this other bottle, try blue for now. Because I'm using masking layers, I can just easily change the color later. Fine. Or if this bit should be green as well, the lid. Lid for now. And eye in the foreground, we probably want it white. Don't want it that white. Blue works. While I'm here, I may as well try out some other colors. I'm a bit wary of making it orange, just because it creates this connection between this object and this object, which is sometimes okay if there's like a third object that creates like a triangle. But if it's just the two objects, it just kind of creates this bouncing of focus, which isn't great. And at the moment it's like you got the apron as well, which kind of like this little circle. So I feel like blue was working a lot better. You kind of focus on this and then you focus on her. And then I guess you focus on the mirror as well. So it's like not quite a triangle, but it's a progression. Yeah, I think we'll keep the blue now. Border. It's a little bit tricky when I have these example borders in too, because I know that the colors will change. I'm gonna do it first. I'm gonna lower the saturation on this just so I don't get distracted. Because sometimes it's fun working with the color of the border, but since I don't know what the color of the border is going to look like for this suit, I shouldn't get too attached to this green. I feel like it's more likely that it's going to have a lot of brown in this border. It's a rural suit, and I'm thinking like wood, a lot of wood, so. That's just cool. Okay. Still undecided about this one. See what it looks like just making it green. So it's like a glass top as well. Not too sure about it. But if it's white. It's just a little bit odd. I don't mind that, that's actually interesting. Get rid of this white. that kind of works. Just like a tint of a little hint of orange on that green that makes that slightly different color to the bottle, which I kind of like. For the eye color, I'm gonna try blue. Great and a brown. Good part of this eye is actually going to be covered by the water. I feel like it would be a bit fun to add some red to this as well. Add some veins to this. That's an eyeball. The eyeball was Jacob's suggestion. Is this Shrek's pantry? Maybe it is. It'll explain so many things. Have you seen this rat thing yet? I had fun. Probably should bring this the layer for it. Right. I'm shadowing. I don't feel like I need to have more shadow on there. Don't usually add a second layer of shadows unless I feel like it's really needed. I don't want to push out the points, the AR tracking points. This eye was not looking around without it, so most of this eye is going to be covered anyway. Probably still a bit brighter than probably want. I want it to be like a subtle detail. Well, sort of subtle. Your eye's initially drawn to this lady's face, hopefully. Brought a bit more shadow in. I think we might. I feel like I need more shadow in the face, but I'm kind of concerned that it's strange. Could try giving her lipstick as well. Try giving her lipstick and see what that looks like. I just look horribly wrong. I don't know. The green glow's not helping. Kind of washes it out. will be a nice detail. It's just this closed it out quite a lot. It's gonna be kind of weird if it's not shining on. Alright, let's do some highlights on that. Get the green. But actually go with the white. For like the really bright highlights. You want to really bring up Lady into focus. Really bring her into the foreground. The idea here is that there's a light source that's just off screen over here somewhere that will be shining quite heavily onto her and a little bit onto these objects in the front. And also in these cards I tend to exaggerate the highlights a little bit just to create that extra kind of contrast that's going on here. And that is because if you weren't here, haven't seen a previous stream, these yellow points is what the Ardent Roleplay Augmented Reality app actually uses to track where the models show up on the card. And so if you move the card around, the model will move with the card. And it uses these points here, which are basically created by the line work and where lines intersect and points and little bits of detail. And to really get as many of these as I can throughout the whole image and nicely spread out, right here, I often do the highlights right next to the lines just to keep that contrast so those lines don't have a chance of getting lost with a dark color next to it. I'm always looking out to make sure that I'm not doing colors too dark, because even with some of these, there's a chance that Euphoria, which is the software that we use for augmented reality and the points, there's a chance that even this might be too dark, but I check it at the end before I finalize anything. I make sure I run it through the points tracking system and then just make sure that none of the colors are too dark and I'm not losing details. But yeah, that's another reason why I push the highlights a lot in these images, so they might not necessarily be super realistic to how the light shines on something. It might not be incredibly accurate. I exaggerate a lot just purely for that reason, because I want these to be really good tracking markers, because these wouldn't be any good if they didn't work, because they are markers. doing some of this here. Highlight. You'll see me turning on and off layers a lot. I like checking to make sure what I actually just did is actually contributing to the image or not. I feel like this is, but there's some bits that just feel like it's flattening the image. So this highlight on this arm here, I feel like it's actually just kind of flattening a shoulder. I haven't actually been using cross-hatching much in these Cthulhu cards. It's a bit of a divergence from the high fantasy cards I've done. A lot more hatching in them. And I think that's partly because I've been using more hard shadows like this. Instead of doing like line work like hatching for details, change the style a little bit. Not sure about soften this a little bit. Not sure about the white that I've done on the shoulder still. Maybe it's just too stark. Looking a little bit messy now. Or about. Not sure what to do about this arm. Having that thick line out there is probably also contributing to it feeling flat. And I've done that thick line just because I want this latest step forward from the background. So I might outline it. But it does mean I lose some of the roundness, makes it look flat. I'll just see what I can use this line thickness here. When it comes to line work, a way of creating like the roundness of a shape is you do a thicker line on one side and a thinner line on the other side. And I kind of break that a bit with these cards usually because I end up feeling like I need to outline more heavily just to distinguish foregrounds and backgrounds and whatnot. And just important items I will make bigger. I actually prefer the thin line, so it needs to be a bit more gradual. Start off thicker, get thinner, I think. Yeah, I like that more. Cool. I need a. I don't want this line to kind of curve out into that other line. Corner. Okay. Cool. I've probably erased too much of this glow on our arm. On the other way. Isn't doing anything. Oh, it's the wrong way up. Unfortunate. There probably could be more green glue here. Yeah, because then that might bring forth the hand a little bit more. And I usually like reducing the transparency on the white highlights. I do a little bit just because otherwise it's really stuck. And I like just softening it a little bit usually. Usually it's already on top of a lighter color anyway. I think I need to kind of sort out what's happening with the lighting of this lamp. I should probably see what it looks like without it. Sometimes it's a little bit of a gamble whether if having two different light sources, especially if they're different colors, and whether that actually looks any good or if it just looks confusing to look at. And I don't think it's too much of a problem here. But I may as well see. I feel like at the moment it loses something when I get rid of it, so I think that means I'll probably be keeping it. Let's see if it needs to be that bright though. Yeah, it kind of does. I'm gonna play with this lighting a little bit more. The light that's hitting her. We'll have a bit more than just that line glowing on it. So in the background, there's currently no highlights at all. And I do want to keep the background a little bit minimalistic in the detail because there's already a lot of kind of detail or things going on in the background already. So I want to be careful if I do like the idea of making these objects look more 3D, I guess, with highlights and everything and more detailed, but I do have to be careful that I don't get too carried away because I think it will overload the image a bit, because we want people to kind of focus on this first, then look in the background and be like, oh, that's cool, there's like all these little weird objects. So there's going to be, I'm going to get light blue, and because there'll be probably some little highlights coming from this light source here, and then I could use green, but I don't want to bring any of the background here into this bit here, so I want to avoid putting any green highlights in the background, making blue. I'm making this solid orange right now, but I'll probably reduce it a little bit because it is quite far back from the lamp, so there wouldn't be much orange actually showing on this, like reflecting on these objects. But I just want a little bit to make these objects look less flat. So I haven't figured out what's going to go in. I'm gonna throw a little bit of orange light on this little guy here. Probably don't want to do much more. Glow on by the hand. Definitely need to reduce it a little bit. I don't mind how harshly this is actually jumping on this little guy here. Okay, I'll try some blue highlights. Might be hit or miss with this. It looks like. So this blue highlight, something that I've done in a few cards. It's not necessarily meant to be from a specific light source. It's almost literally just for making sure that there's contrast for backing points and just general atmosphere. Yes, because it can be tricky conveying a dark space in these cards without, because I can't use dark colors that aren't too dark with the line work, or they'll just make bad tracking targets. So I end up boosting up the highlights and using some cool colors to do that. So I'm using a blue here. And then if I boost up the highlights, then things will feel more dark or cold. Yeah, for that reason I use blue and purple in backgrounds a lot as well. Basically creating the illusion that this is a dark space without using dark colors. I'm going to avoid putting too much blue in this area because it just might look strange when there's so much orange light reflecting on. Alright, so let's just bring some of that those items to life a little bit. So yeah, as I said, there's no actual blue light source here, obviously, that's shining on these objects, but by using this cool color, I've just created a little bit of more shape to these objects without without sacrificing the darkness field in the background there. Well, we've got 15 minutes before I take a break. We haven't actually put any shadows in the background yet, so I might do that. It'd be really nice if I could keep it that dark in the background, but I can't. And it just wouldn't track well. Make these bits darker. It'll be interesting to see if this wipes out any of the points, the tracking points I was talking about. I think it's still light enough that it shouldn't, but we'll see. I tested this the line work for this image last stream with the points. There was quite a lot going on in the background here, so even if I lose a little bit, it should be fine, I think. But yeah, as I said, I always check. Bring this shadow layer actually under the highlights, so the highlights actually look a bit more. it's a shadow going on. Technically there's another light source shining this way, so there should be another shadow kind of going out here, but we'll just say that it's actually covering the shadow. Shadow here. Even though it wouldn't be that dark. That just grounds it a little bit more. I haven't done any highlights on the ground. I'm not sure if I should or not really, because I don't want it to interfere with the foreground. What I might do is like really orange highlights. I won't do that on the same layer, so I have the option of removing it if this doesn't work. Don't like it's here. But this layer here that I did before, it's really nice when you zoom in like this and you see creates that extra depth, but as an AR marker and as a smaller card, it might not be worth it. Because yeah, I'm quite worried that I'll actually lose points through that. I just might make a note to do that during my break. I might upload that and then show you guys what it looks like in Euphoria with the tracking points. And we'll see if it actually is in regards to removing points or not. Well, I still haven't tackled this mirror yet. What else I haven't decided what's in this. I'm thinking a portrait or something in this screen here. I almost feel like there should be some button on it, I think. I have done some cool pattern work on one of the cards in the wallpapers for a couple of the cards in the previous suit. I'll bring them up for you. I've created some wallpaper detail in the background using color. Card. Writer card. I do like the writer card. Again, done like patterns on the wallpaper, so I could do that sort of thing on her clothing. Just to create a little bit more detail on the front there to draw your eye closer to what's going on here, since there's not much going on in the background. I don't know why I feel like there's, maybe because it's just like gradients and that's really flat color right now. I'm not sure why I'm feeling that way. Yeah, apron color. That's apron there. Just quickly see what it actually looks like when I do some sort of pattern on her apron. So what pattern should we do? I feel like it should be something that could look like a cult symbol or something, but like in the form of a pattern. Classic eye is coming to mind, even though it's done so often. Let's just go with it for now. Well, actually, we have a symbol for mythos that I made up. It'd be fun to use that actually. I'm gonna actually do that. Keep that screen up while I draw it. Reference. Not really in the right spot, so I'm going to move it a bit. There we go, that's pretty fun. I'm going to duplicate that in case I accidentally wreck this. Alright, so what else can we do here? Really do something around. Now I'm going to make this into some sort of material pattern or something. Hard to do like circle shapes. Alright. Kind of works. Also would be round because it's wrapping around a body. Just trying to make this a little bit busy so you notice that this is like cult symbol or the mythos symbol that we use for the suit after the fact. Make it a little bit more subtle. Doing that subtle layer. I think it's nice having a little bit of more texture. It's tempted to do it the same thing on the dress, but maybe not Cthulhu like culty. Just kind of a simple pattern maybe. Yeah, let's just throw purple in. Stripes could help create some roundness. I feel like the sleeves and everything a bit flat still. It will keep stripes on the cuff. See what this looks like and then take a 15-minute break. The stripes and spots. I like the idea of spots too. Yeah, I feel like it's definitely nice having something there. whether I've got the right thing right now, I'm not sure. I think I didn't do these lines very well. Spots can be tricky to do. Trying to do like a material because you have to look repetitive enough. Kind of in a row. Otherwise, it just looks like you've just drawn random spots or something. You know what? I might prefer the spots, I think. They also remind me like of spots on like a slimy monster or something. So that's good. Good for Cthulhu. Alright, well, I'm overdue for a break now, so I will see you guys in 15 minutes.
Having something that you can kind of physically see and be like, this is what it is, this is what it looks like, is a very simple way to just keep story flowing.
It's another tool to communicate to the players what's happening.
Imaginations are endless.
Players who are new into the game, being able to describe, what a crypt or a dais or something is.
I believe we're in the presence of a trap.
With this, it's like, oh, this pops right up on my screen and I can see all this stuff and I don't need to tell anyone about it.
That is amazing. That's so good.
Oh yeah, look at that. Dang.
To have that visualization right there. Pretty impressive, yeah.
Having the visuals, it kind of brings it into a cool world.
is the second time I played D&D. The first time I played, I actually filled in for a guy that couldn't make it to a session. I made his character completely chaotic evil. I could probably help you out of there, but you're gonna have to give me that coin pouch. And killed the entire party I was with, and yeah, I can't really play with those guys anymore. Because my perception is usually pretty high, I can see a lot of things that the other people can't see, which means that I can kind of take advantage of situations a lot easier than I would be able to in just a normal tabletop standard. Like, it'd be very hard to be like, hey guys, I know the Dungeon Master just said I've got all this stuff in the corner, but don't look at it because you characters can't see it.
I believe you're in the presence of a trap.
With this, it's like, oh, this pops right up on my screen and I can see all this stuff and I don't need to tell anyone about it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Sean Sunday's player screens, D&D player screens arrived today, and going to do a quick unpack. What have we got? Look at that, nice. Partly what's really good is that they're kind of low, and with that is what I'm actually really looking forward to seeing, how they work together with Ardent Roleplay. And of course they're you know, particularly good because they have a whole bunch of nice useful information on them for players, not just DMs. If the GM puts down a card, you can still have a really good view of what's going on in the space. So you're still getting that 3D view, you've got the screen, it's not in the way, which is what I was really hoping for, but that height is just fantastic. So you've really got a good view of what's going on the table with Ardent Roleplay, using the augmented reality to see what's happening, and you've got this lovely screen to remind you what you're supposed to be doing and how it all works. So thanks, Sean, for these are fantastic. I'm really glad we backed your project, and looking forward to having a play with them.
never played it, never played anything interactive. It was always on my bucket list. I've always seen it on movies. My friends play it, and I heard that it's like really immersive and that it can last for months.
Oh yeah, look at that.
I couldn't fathom how gameplay works like that. Like tailoring that some people could see certain things and then like other players couldn't. When they said it's all your imagination, I'm like, what? Like anything?
I'm gonna run up to one of them and like hook my bow over its head, draw it back, and like decapitate.
Imagination is endless, and I think having the visuals, it kind of brings it into a cool way.
Having something that you can kind of physically see and be like, this is what it is, this is what it looks like, is a very simple way to just keep story flowing.
It's another tool to communicate to the players what's happening.
Imagination is endless.
Players who are new into the game, being able to describe, what a crypt or a dais or something is.
I believe we're in the presence of a trap.
With this, it's like, oh, this pops right up on my screen, and I can see all this stuff, and I don't need to tell anyone about it.
That is amazing. That's so good.
Oh yeah, look at that. Dang.
To have that visualization right there. Pretty impressive, yeah.
Having the visuals, it kind of brings it into a cool world.
Hi everyone. If you've just joined us, I'm illustrating some cards for Ardent Roleplay, an augmented reality app for tabletop role-playing games. And these cards are used as AR markers, so it is used basically for the app to know where the models are placed in regards to the card and the table. So this is the card I've been working on. And we're getting to the tail end of the colouring stage. So I mentioned before the break that I was going to put what I currently have through Vuforia to see how our AR tracking markers are going. So these are the points that the app picks up with the camera and uses to track where the model is going to be in relation to the card. So I've put it through, and if the stream breaks, because 2 streams ago I tried going to the browser and it broke, so if that happens, you know why, and I'll be back. Hope it doesn't break. Go back to live drawing. Huzzah, it's working. Okay. Alright, so I've put this through. This is the sorry. This is what I currently have. And I've put this through. And before the break I mentioned that they had some shadowing in the background that I turned on and off. So I've actually opened up 2 tabs to see the differences, and the difference is very minor. So I think it doesn't really affect the tracking of this card if I have decided to keep that or not. And what I'm looking for is 5 stars here, by the way. When I have the borders on, it pretty much, the borders make it 5-star pretty much instantly. If I have some examples here. This is one that I worked on a few streams ago. So we actually have possibly more points in the one we're currently doing. We have a lot more thicker lines in the one we're currently doing. So as you'll see in this one, there was a few detail thin lines that didn't pick up. So not every line or point has to be picked up. It's just that we need a nice spread out across the image, and that's what we've got here, which is really nice. And I also have to do a print test to see how these go, because sometimes this isn't a great indicator of what it will look like when it's printed. Some of the colors might print darker than you see on screen, for example. So yeah, but this is looking pretty good so far. So go back to drawing. So to wrap this image up, I think we mostly need to sort out what's in this frame here and what's in here. This is the mirror that I want something spooky to be reflected off the back of her. 5 stars, yes. Yeah, so let's... I want something cool in this mirror, but I haven't started it yet because I'm still trying to think of what I want, because I keep doing tentacles. It's gonna be overdone. I need to think of something creepy. Maybe another face on the back of a head or something. The issue I also have is that this is a very small area to work with. So it's a cool idea, but like I don't know how much detail I can go with it. It'll be different on your screen, but on my screen it's like gonna be that big and not gonna be much detail I can throw in there. Just quickly bring up the card that I did, the knife card I did a little while back on stream. Because I ended up doing a reflection on this knife. Oh, I haven't actually got it flat, just have to bring up the Photoshop file. I ended up doing a reflection on this knife in a couple of streams back, and it actually ended up working pretty well. So looking at something like that again, so I've already gone like a tentacly, like goopy mess in that reflection. I've used tentacles a lot in the previous suit. It's classic Cthulhu though, so I think what I'll start doing is try and get some sort of indication that this is the behind view of her, and then go from there. If that's even possible with the scale we're working with, because it's very small. So she's wearing a blue dress. The aprons don't have much on the back, they're all on the front, so it'll be mostly blue for her clothing. Let's border off real quick. What layer am I? I've gotten to the point where I've got layers everywhere. I'm not looking for the layer, looking for the mirror. Mirror area. Alright. I'm gonna multiply this layer. So she's reaching up. So this shoulder would be actually up higher. I need to move up actually. The head's up a bit higher so we get more to work with. There's a chance this idea just won't work yet. But I like a challenge. I'm just gonna get the basic shape of this lady first. Use orange because I can always change the color. This will be her skin tone areas. We'll get beat around head. I'm just gonna get like a grey for her hair, I guess, and then would be like some light throwing on her. Two different light sources we got going on. I guess we can use the back of the apron as an indicator that this is behind her. Because essentially what I'm trying to do here is just get the indication that this is behind the woman, like this is from behind. And then I add something that's a bit unnatural and strange about her. So as long as I just get that indication, then we're good. It's looking really basic right now. That's okay. I'm gonna get, because this worked really well for me with it. This knife one, I used the dark grey and then the line work, and it ended up really nicely for me. So I'm gonna do that. Give that a go again. Gonna make the brush real small. I should have her hand coming up here too. I do have to kind of decide what I'm doing here. It's going to be visible from a small card. Got a pack of cards. Here's how big the cards are. I'm actually going to put it right next to my picture to get a sense of how big this is going to be. That is very tiny. So, not a whole lot to work with. So it's something that's can do. I think I'm getting inspiration from Lovecraft Country, the show. Because I've just thought of like something that's like she's literally got something coming out of her, like that, like stretching out of her in the back there. That might be a bit ambitious for the size I'm going for. either that or tentacles or something. No, let's just go for it. Worked out for me last time. Or she could have something like that's actually on her, like some sort of creature that's behind her. This is tricky. Should just go for it really, because we can try out a few things. Going for something clawing its way out of her right now. First idea. Probably have to put some gore into this one as well if I do this option. Do an eye. It's pretty spooky. Okay, so let's draw some details in too. I don't think I quite got her shoulder right here. A sleeve should be like that more. Move these down. Yeah, or should I make it smaller? It's tempting to make it smaller. It's just really hard because this might be too. It's already going to be really small to see on a card. So this looks really basic and cartoony, but you got to remember that it's going to be quite small on the card. I probably should put some hint of the shells that she's reaching for. Oh. Oh, she's just kind of isolated there. So what's probably gonna happen here is that I'm gonna have to do an actual print test for this one. To see what this actually looks like. It's really hard to get that sense of scale for working on screen. I hope it works because it'll be a really cool payoff. I really like the idea. Bring in 2 highlight colors. So she would have, actually she would have quite a lot of orange glowing on her back here. These highlights actually to the darker. Actually could work out quite well having the highlights here. I knew I put that lamp there for a reason. This would actually really be like the edges have green on this one. The light source is actually in front. Okay. I'm gonna group all those reflections together. I'm gonna have to fade out some of this. It'll be really interesting what this looks like when it's printed. Alright, I'll leave that as that because there might be a bit of trial and error off stream. What time is it? Alright. So let's sort out what's gonna be this frame. This is probably gonna be its own. Alright, this is gonna be portrait. Fine. What do I want this portrait to be? Got a little girl or something. Again, this is gonna look quite simplistic, but just gotta remember this is gonna be really tiny detail on the card's actually printed. Put a little teddy bear in here. Alright, that works. I'll throw in some. Yeah, let's get purple. I need some darkness here. This reflection to actually work. Bring back some of it. This will just help distinguish this as a body shape. Where are we? Got 40 minutes left. Generally, I spend an average between 5 to 7 hours on each card. So this one is coming pretty close to the tail end, and I will probably end up coming back to it off stream and finishing it up, making final touches and so on. Quickly, some more solid green highlights. What I'll might do is go back to the card that I started, the same suit, roadway card. Started on stream a little while ago, but I didn't finish it. So move on to that after. Just few little details on here still, and I might move on to that card. Some sort of shiny texture on this. Look a little bit reflective. I think I'll leave this card as is for the moment. Because I'll need to do some print testing off stream. Yeah, I was trying a few ambitious things with this one. Do with this mirror. We'll see how that goes in printing. So let's bring up the card that I started working on a few streams ago. Here it is. Bring up the card types again. So this card is the Pathway card. And the general vibes to this card is this is going to be like an old rural road leading to a village or a small little town. So yeah, that's what I'll get onto that now, because I've got half an hour left of this stream. We'll see how this goes. If you get carried away, I can go a little bit over time. Oh, I forgot I hadn't. There we go. Yeah. Alright. This is the Pathway card. And the first thing that I want to change is that I noticed after last stream is that this tree trunk is interacting with the border kind of strange, and I don't want that, so I'm going to bring this out. And I also realized that this road, I want it to call a roadway, but this is more like a path. It's quite a narrow path, so just keep wandering for a second. Been a little while since I looked at this, so I have to remember what's part of what layer. Delete. Alright, that's part of that. So what I'm going to do, actually take this whole side. Move it over to just widen that road a bit. And also I'll be moving that tree anyway. Yeah, so this is on a different layer to the leaves, so I'm gonna flatten that. Nice, okay. Move. Bigger. Will that be distracting? That's fine. So now it just feels more open. I can make the road wider, and the tree trunk was just interfering with the bottom before, so I think I'm more happy with that. So I said I want to make the road a bit wider, so I think this whole section needs to kind of move to allow the road to open up a little bit more. Kind of a shame, I like the rock. I've noticed that I throw a rock in the foreground like that quite often though, so good to shake things up a bit. It's gonna look around this though. I already find it hard to imagine that that path was narrow before. Actually, it's probably these leaves that's making it look really... well... I can always change the name from roadway to pathway or something as well. Even as the cup type. Actually, more details over here now. Get rid of that trunk. Oh, thin line's a little bit strange. I feel like scaling's a little bit strange in this one. As I said, that it was meant to be a road, but it's feeling more like a pathway because it's a bit narrow. Could actually just move the whole composition over a little bit. It's a tree. It's everything but the tree. There's so many layers. If I move this over, on its own. Okay. actually hard doing like the grass line that meets the road in a way that looks natural. It still doesn't look natural though. Like that. Alright. I like this leaf, but I think it's throwing the scale completely out of whack. Those are huge leaves if I want this to be a road. See if this makes a difference. Oh. Could try doing some small leaves to replace it to give it a sense of scale. Oh, tiny. Tiny for that. Now there's not much going on in the foreground, so not sure what to do there. We could put crows in it actually. Be cool. Go. Crows as reference. Real quick. Thinking that I might as well finish this. This is like a burnt out building. Caved in. Basically a skeleton of a building that's meant to be. Okay. Having a crow on the pathway, like eating a worm or something, sounds really cool to me. Probably not the easiest thing to draw, so... but that's fine. What I'm going to do is put all of this line work. Make it a little bit transparent so I don't get distracted. Scaling also. This is still looking a bit like a path to me, like as in a walking path rather than a road. But I did want it to be a road, so it should make the bird quite small. This is a huge bird, which is still in line with Cthulhu. And I'm gonna just sketch this out and then draw it properly after I figure it out. I was gonna make it a worm or something it was getting, but maybe I should make it something else. Rat or something. That sketch was pretty horrible. Didn't really help me. This one helps. I think I like the idea of some sort of prey it's got on the road. I'm kind of wondering if I should just embrace it as a footpath because it means that the bird can be bigger. It's just generally more interesting. Be really big birds. I don't know what I'm doing with this one. I like the idea of the wings being out. It just brings a bit more action to the image. I'm trying to do it like from behind this. Bit of an awkward angle that I'm trying to go for here. I just real clear. I think I like the idea of like two crows just yelling at each other over this mouse. So much less dramatic when the wings aren't out. They're still flying. Maybe 3 crows? General rules of composition. Rule of... My dad taught me when I was younger that odd numbers look better than even numbers in compositions, so going for a 3rd crow sounds like a good idea. Does that mean 39 birds look better than 40? Probably. Who knows? Maybe I should spend a stream testing that theory. How far can I go? Drawing 40 crows. A stream sounds fun. I like how dodgy these sketches look. But I think that's a cool idea, having something like this in the foreground. Because otherwise it's just too barren and boring. We can have like little birds in the skies as well. Definitely not the greatest sketches. Beak as well. Want it to really be going at the other one. That's certainly that's probably a bit big, the lower beak. Bit loose with these, with the wings, because they're meant to be in flight, so be a bit hard getting the idea of movement in a line drawing, because it instantly makes everything feel more static when you draw things in lines. Tail. It looks like it's spread out a little bit when it's. Not convinced they got the wings right, but keep going and see. Berries. Three front ones. I like throwing the tricky things. No one told me to put a bird or 3 birds into this, but I decided to. I could have also just done them in a normal, still standing position, but nope. Decided to try and draw it. Like, oh, I just found a good reference. Damn. I think I'll end up redrawing this, honestly. The legs aren't forward enough. I want it to be like reaching for the other one, basically. I think that part of the issue is that these wings are up higher as well. They should be like that more. I think I'm being too conservative with the wingspan too. Keep doing tiny wings. This is a tricky angle. Well, that's getting closer. Yeah, so 12 o'clock, it's my wrap up time. I don't feel like I've got this crew quite right still, but it's alright. Alright. Well, I think I'll leave it there for tonight. Thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Having something that you can kind of physically see and be like, this is what it is, this is what it looks like, is a very simple way to just keep story flowing.
It's another tool to communicate to the players what's happening.
Imaginations are endless.
Players who are new into the game, being able to describe, what a crypt or a dais or something is.
I believe we're in the presence of a trap.
With this, it's like, oh, this pops right up on my screen, and I can see all this stuff, and I don't need to tell anyone about it.
That is amazing. That's so good.
Oh yeah, look at that. Dang.
To have that visualization right there. Pretty impressive, yeah.
Having the visuals, it kind of brings it into a cool world.